1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, we got a lot of work today, okay? This is when it should suck. Life should suck in training camp.
Not a game. We talking about practice.
Every day I'm hustling.
I think just for the young guys, it's the mental. You know, how much can they retain from the last time we were together in June to now, and then the vets just kind of picking up, you know, where they sort of where they left off, and you know, maybe knocking a little rust off and getting back into it.
Looks, fires, deep downfield, got a man. That's Christian Kirk along the left sideline. Touchdown, Jacksonville! A 29-yard touchdown pass.
Man rush, throws downfield, looking for Thomas again. He's got it, and LSU strikes back quickly.
Now he wants to throw it back. And a ball picked off by the Jaguars. Josh Allen, has he done enough this year yet? He picked off the double pass and ran it back inside the 10-yard line. Dropping is Richardson, dropping, fires deep downfield, and that ball is intercepted by Tyson Campbell. He picked it off. He picked it off at the 43-yard line of the Indianapolis Colts.
Ball, man. Locked in for another 4 years. Love y'all. Ready to get to work. You know, bring the Super Bowl to Jacksonville, man. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, everybody, welcome in. Happy Tuesday, straight up 10 o'clock here. Jaguars Today kicking off for the next couple hours. Jags off today, Tony, not on the practice field, a scheduled day off. They'll be back at it again tomorrow. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs rolling into town this weekend for the preseason opener, and we got ducats we'll be giving away today for that.
We do.
We got a Tuesday top 5 today. We got Hayes Carlyon joining us to give us a camp report. And what else could you want other than a new open, right? I'm kidding, Pockets. I love this open. It's been fantastic. You know, I was very disappointed when I didn't get to be in my seat to hear the entirety of it. The beginning of training camp, but I know you've been promising us you've got something cooking in the lab, right?
It's coming this week. Might come tomorrow.
Might come tomorrow.
Might.
Okay.
I got to think about it. Like
all
all
right.
rules are around here, you know.
Look, we're all at your mercy at this point in time, but at some point this week, we're going to have a new updated training camp open. So that's the way it goes. Any Olympic plans for you, or did you take in anything yesterday?
No.
I watched whatever was on last night. I don't even remember what it was.
I think I watched a little volleyball. Yes, I know I did watch a little volleyball yesterday. That was about it.
Saw some volleyball. I saw one of the indoor bike events.
Okay.
I did.
Were they in a velodrome?
I don't know what that is.
I learned that in watching the '84 Olympics in Los Angeles. That's the little the bicycling stadium that they build. It's called
I got
a
to
velodrome.
see whatever their deal was. It's 3 ladies on a bike, and everyone has to do a lap. So someone's
got
got
a podcast.
Yeah,
doesn't
so
it?
like
3 ladies on a bike.
So like the third woman has to do 3 laps. The other 2 are doing 1 and 2 laps, right? So it's a 3-person team.
Okay.
They just go around the track 3 times, that kind of thing. And I know I saw 4 world records set in whatever that event is called.
Congratulations.
Right?
To
And
the world record setters.
I saw it, and I still couldn't. I don't remember who won. I know it wasn't the USA that won. I did watch a little bit of volleyball last night for Team USA, and I saw a quarterfinal, I think, in field hockey that went to a penalty shootout. The penalty shootout was interesting. But, yeah, that's about it.
Today's a good day, I think. At noon, you got the ladies soccer team in the semis, right, going up against Germany, who they trounced earlier in group play. And then you got the U.S. men's basketball team in the quarterfinals at 3:30 this afternoon. And we got, right now, Serbia and Australia on the screen. Apparently, Serbia was down massively early on, up by 4 right now. But that's my Olympic plans for the day. Get home as quick as possible, catch the second half of the ladies soccer performance, and go from there. We will be giving out tickets, as I mentioned. We got a pair to give away today. And this doesn't count. This example, that I'm about to give you does not count. It's going to be the first time you hear this after our first commercial break in the show. It has begun. Okay, when you hear that means it has begun for you to start dialing up 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. And I don't know, Pockets, what are we going to do? Take the fourth caller for that?
Yeah, we usually do.
Why don't we take the fifth caller?
All right.
Okay, because it's Tuesday. We're doing
top
the top five today. And the top five today is simply asking you, let's see how I phrased it, how simple it was. Based on what you've seen or heard, you may have gone out to a bunch of practices. Maybe you're just listening to the various reports from all the folks who are there. And I'm kind of a hybrid of both. I've seen some with my own eyes, but, I have to live it through Hayes Carlyon and Mia O'Brien and Lauren Brooks and the folks that are there for the majority of practice every single day. John Shipley, Demetrius Harvey, all that stuff. So based on what you've seen or heard, which 5 Jags do you feel are having the best training camp? Obviously subjective, Tone, but I do see a lot of people, we post these the day before because it requires you to give a little bit more thought to come up with a list. And so some people like to jump in right away and they get a little head start thinking about it. And there have been some lists that are extremely close to what mine is going to turn out to be today. I got to believe these people calling right now are people who don't know how to follow instructions on how to win a pair of tickets. Right? Am I wrong about that? Do you think there's any doubt that that's what's happening at the moment? I'm quite sure that that's what's happening. You're going to have to wait till after the first break when you hear that. We're not going to play it again. We just played it for you.
The next time you hear it, call.
There's a benefit to tuning into the show right from the very beginning. So, how difficult or easy was it for you to put together your top 5 list?
Not all that hard.
Okay.
And let's see. I included all the names that I was thinking about. It was about a 9-man list.
Yeah, about a 10, something like that. There are some that I feel definitely merited recognition, but you're limited to 5, so that's where we're at. So since we got Hayes coming up at 10:40 today, timing this thing out, why don't we begin the countdown there, Dylan?
Number 5.
This guy's right on top of it this morning. Look at him, angling for some kind of a raise, I think. All right, Dylan, why don't you start in with us today? Who's your number 5 best camp haver among the Jaguars?
I'm going to go Cam Little. I haven't heard anything negative from him. I don't think I've heard anybody say he's missed a field goal. Range is unlimited. Every video I've seen, he's pretty much hit the back of the net, anything 50, 55 yards. Did he hit the net on some of the 60-yarders? Or am I tripping a little bit?
I don't know if he hit the net on the 60s, but definitely I've seen him make some like mid-50s where that ball's going through like 2/3 of the way up the upright.
Yeah.
So, that you've got plenty of extra on top of that. All right, so Cam Little at 5 for Dylan. Tony, what about yourself?
Cam Little. He officially won a job that was at least presented as an open competition going into camp, and his spot is secure enough that they let go of the other kicker and never even brought anybody else in. We've seen plenty of camps where even when Scobie was here, they had another camp leg.
Yes.
It's not silly for a team to carry 2 through training camp, but the Jags are comfortable enough with Cam Little, and it makes sense he's a rookie, so every kick opportunity they're going to have in the preseason being his is fine, right? It makes sense from a team perspective for that to be the way that they want to approach it here in 2024, but they made that decision pretty early on in camp. And they obviously feel comfortable enough about it to not even add competition to that spot at this point. Cam Little's the man, and every report on him throughout camp has been aces for Cam to this point.
You are more trustworthy than I am. I think most people would agree with that, right? You're just a more basically honest person. We do not compare lists ever when we do the top 5. Never compare them ahead of time. So it's always a surprise, but we're 3 for 3. With Cam Little. All right, I put him at number 5. I feel like you could argue that for executing what he's been asked to do, he could be number 1 on the list, right? And he did miss the one in the stadium practice. He's missed a couple along the way, but this is one guy that I actually do get to see when I go out to practice because a lot of times, they're going through in that first period and he's, warming up from, say, 40, and then he moves it back to 45, 48, 53, whatever, and just keeps going and going and going. And it was just kind of fascinating to see him side by side with Riley Patterson, who does, when you see Riley kick freely, he has the leg to make like mid-50s. Right? He does. But when Cam kicks it, it comes off his foot so explosively. And he was making them with such ease, I think it intimidated Riley Patterson, quite honestly. And, he kind of tried to put that little extra into it so the ball's not stinking across the crossbar, and he ended up hooking a lot of kicks. It was, like you said, very evident. For as much as there was a battle when you draft a kicker, you kind of know that's going to be your guy, barring catastrophe. And catastrophe happens sometimes. Cam Little shut that down right away. So they're trying a different tactic now to put pressure on him. Okay, you're the guy, right? There's no fail-safe. There's no anything. Go out and show us. And I think he relishes the opportunity here. He's been fantastic. And for me, again, and I've mentioned this several times, expected the consistency. The big leg aspect of it has been fantastic. Like, I don't expect him probably to have any attempts of 60 yards or more, unless you're in just a very unique situation. It's got to be end of the half, last play, or game-winning situation. You basically have no choice because the alternative is if you miss, you're giving up such good field position. But I've seen Cam Little all over these lists this morning that we've gotten for feedback, and I think deservedly so. That doesn't mean – here's the thing. It's tough to know which offensive lineman is having a really good camp sometimes, or which – and we hear great things about individual defensive linemen. Like, I've got one on my list coming up today. And Cam Little's not the most important guy on the team until it comes time to take the field, right? Like, at that moment, he's the most important guy on the team. But, I'd rather Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne and Christian Kirk topping this list. Those guys are much more important to the overall success of this team, but it's hard to deny what he's been able to do, Cam Little coming in here and just taking that job and making it his. So you let us know today in any number of fashions. You can hit us up with a tweet at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, or at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
Okay, here's one law. Got to have a new open for the show by the end of the week now, because you've put that deadline out there yourself, Mr. Denmark. All right.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Oh, fantastic. He's trying to mix it up a little bit, catching me unawares. So you can do that on social media. Hit us up at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hop in the YouTube virtual studio and post in the chat there if you want to. Remember, you're listening for me doing my imitation of Hacker on the first day of training camp and or free agency, because it was a twice-a-year ritual for him. And when you hear that, be the fifth caller at 641-1010, and Dylan will grace you with a pair of tickets to go see the Jags and the Chiefs this weekend in the preseason opener. Hayes Carlyon coming along in about, what do we got, about 30 minutes from now. We'll continue the countdown. We've got a bunch of audio from some interviews done yesterday by the 1010XL crew, and we'll get to all that as well. Glad you're along with us. Another edition of Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update. Brought to you by USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games, sponsored by Gorilla Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth. Men's basketball, Team USA's march to a fifth straight gold medal hits the knockout stage today, a quarterfinal matchup with Brazil. Winner of that one faces the winner of Australia and Serbia. The Aussies were up 24 in the first half, but Serbia has come all the way back and has the lead 67-65 going to the fourth quarter. Earlier, Germany stayed undefeated with a win over Giannis Antetokounmpo in Greece. American Gabby Thomas is the gold medal favorite in the 200 meters coming up this afternoon. She won bronze in Tokyo. Brittany Brown and Mackenzie Long will also represent Team USA. Women's soccer semis, a rematch between the U.S. and Germany. Checking the medal count, 79 medals for Team USA, 26 more than second-place China. With this Summer Games update, Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive, of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Wellness means something different to each of us. And at Westin Hotels and Resorts, we believe every step is an opportunity to enhance your well-being. Whether it's guided group runs and workout gear on demand, or nourishing food options and restorative rest in our heavenly bed, when you travel, you can find wellness at Westin, one of 30 hotel brands in the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio. Find wellness at Westin.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Josie for Hard Rock Bet. It's Florida's only legal sportsbook. Hard Rock Bet is the way to go. Easy sign up, fast deposits and withdrawals, PayPal, Venmo, cards, and more. They take them all. And we're talking hundreds of props, parlays, live play-by-play betting across every sport. And you can bet from anywhere in the state of Florida. If your first bet doesn't win, you get up to $100 back for another shot. Download Hard Rock Bet now or go online at hardrock.bet.
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
In sports, the grind outside the lines is what ultimately defines our success. Get the amateur's edge, powered by B3 Better, to learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
For a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th at Daytona, answer this question. Who has the most victories in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
1010XL Weekly is out now. Mia here, and text the word weekly to subscribe to our new 1010XL newsletter and for a chance to win Jaguars and concert tickets. Get an inside look at local sports, trending players, station info, and chances to win prizes all year long.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
At Hidden Hills Golf Club, we truly love the game of golf. We invite you to book your next tee time here and enjoy a golfing experience that you might not find at other public facilities. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
I'm having a great time, bro. I think growing into my role with the new coaching staff has been great. Chris Richard and Corey Robinson have created a really good atmosphere in the meeting room as well to grow. So I think, and also the group, we're really close already.
That's Andre Cisco. Yeah, he's having a great time. You hear what went down yesterday. He picked off everybody, right? I think he picked off a few of those staffers, Tony, that are out there throwing those warm-up balls when the receivers are just running drills. He had the 3 interceptions in practice yesterday, so we'll see if Andre Cisco shows up in any of our top 5 lists today. Hayes Carlyon caught up with him after practice yesterday, as well as Devin Lloyd. We're going to hear that coming up, and then Hayes is going to join us here in about 20 minutes. Our man Cristiano down in Brazil told me via DM, because I didn't see it. Yes, Serbia was down 24 in the second quarter. Cristiano knows this because he has more time on his hands. After we bounced you in volleyball, Cristiano, that's right, we bounced you. We bounced you hard yesterday. USA, baby. All right. I think one of the Brazilians won one of the gold medals in gymnastics. He was very fired up about that. So, it's all good. I don't blame him. He's Brazilian. Why wouldn't he be happy about that? But sorry, buddy. We love you, but we bounced you. Breaking news, Tony. Apparently, Dylan Denmark has gotten a job offer.
Yeah.
That he's accepted. And it will not impact his duties here at Jaguars Today as far as we know. But, Dylan, give us the details, please.
Oh, I was the offensive coordinator at UNLV. I'm now the head coach at Memphis Tigers on College Football 25.
Oh, wait, you were the OC at UNLV?
Yeah.
I was under the impression he was the head coach at UNLV.
No,
Tony.
man, you got to work your way up, man. Come on.
All right. I thought you were having some recruiting issues there, but
I was,
But you straightened that out?
Yeah, we good.
You got the.
I lost a couple kids to Utah State. They were 50-50, and I lost out on them.
Well,
but
they
now
just
I'm
dropped the bigger bag on them.
Yeah, apparently.
Can you drop a bag on somebody in College Football 25?
Not yet. All you can do is you can search their social media. You can send them a DM. You can visit, the friends and family, contact them. You can schedule a visit. That's it so far.
Yeah. All right. You got it done, though.
Yeah.
Took him to the playoff.
Yes, we lost to Michigan in a heartbreaker through a pick 6.
The OC called the play. He said he was dominating with the jet sweep, and then you call the pick 6.
It was a 4th and 3. I ran a mesh.
I don't know how that gets you a head coaching gig, personally, Dylan.
Well, when you win 10 games at UNLV, it's pretty good.
All right, that's true. I would think that's true.
And you win a conference.
All right, good for you.
Yeah, good talk.
All right, what do we do here? Let's get through this audio. And then let's jump in with our number 4 in the countdown, looking at, from our perspective, what we've seen with our own eyes or what we've gathered through the various reporting, which 5 Jaguars are having the best training camps. We all agreed on Cam Little as our number 5 selection. So let's hear from Andre Cisco here. And you heard he's loving camp so far. And again, had a hell of a day yesterday, and he spoke after practice. There's some quick answers here, but said he just feels like he's able to fly around a little bit more in Ryan Nielsen's defense.
Attacking aggressive, that's kind of what I've built my game off of. So I'm able to fly around, and he has no problem with it.
Everybody loves to be aggressive. I've never met a defensive coordinator that came in and said, we're going to lay back and see what happens. But they really seem to be taking a shine to their fit with what Nielsen's brought to the table.
Sure, and Cisco, that's been his reputation since he got here, that he's an aggressive player.
Yes.
Right? And he has been kind of the enforcer in the secondary, if they've had one, for the last couple years with him out there on the field. We'll see how much that expands now going into a contract year. It's a big one, obviously, for Andre Cisco after a stellar day of practice yesterday, obviously, with the 3 interceptions. One off each of the quarterbacks. Devon Hamilton back on the field for the Jaguars as well. Andre Cisco was asked about Hamilton being back, his defensive teammate.
That's who he is. You know what I mean? Ever since I came in, I've looked up to him, just his work ethic and the way he does things. So, even if the result on the field doesn't reflect it, he's always working hard. So I'm glad that he's back to his old self.
Yeah, look, it sounds like he didn't make my top 5, I'll tell you right now, Devon Hamilton, but he made some people's list, and I think that's defensible, particularly, with some of the one-on-one work he's done. I feel right now, if you're opening up day 1 against the Miami Dolphins, he's your starting nose tackle. I think a lot of people assume that would be maybe Roy Robertson Harris. Not sure how Hamilton would bounce back after last season where he was injured, but by all accounts, he's doing fantastic out there. What about Cisco on his relationship with one of the newly paid Jaguars, Tyson Campbell?
Oh, I mean, we've been close since pre-draft. You know, we trained together in LA, got drafted together, and then from there, it kind of just made sense to be close. You're the two DBs that got drafted around the same time and the same year. So, you know, since then we've grown a lot. I think even this summer we've gotten a lot closer.
Yeah, look, they both second and third round picks right there. One of them's been extended. We'll see what winds up happening with Andre Cisco coming up.
Yeah, there are many avenues to retaining him beyond this year, right? And I hope he puts the pressure on the Jags to come to the table with some serious coin, because that means he's having a terrific 2024.
No doubt. The defense started hot in training camp, then the offense picked it back up for the first couple days in pads. Defense obviously won the day yesterday out at camp by all indications, with them practicing indoors yesterday with the storm coming through. Cisco was asked if he's happy with how the defense has been playing here early on in camp.
Yeah, yes, sir. You know, I believe that just coming out here and showing up every day with the right attitude is really half the battle. You know, everybody around the country right now is doing training camp, so it's about just having a mentality to get the most out of each day. I believe we've done that. Even if it wasn't perfect, we've showed up and done it the right way.
All right, one more here from Andre Cisco, and just his thoughts on a guy who may be his running mate among safeties there, Antonio Johnson.
Antonio's doing well, bro. I think, you know, early on playing safety in this league is a challenge that you can't really understand from the sideline. But once you kind of get your feet wet on the field, we're able to communicate well, and he's been playing really well.
Our own Hayes Carlyon catching up, Tone, with Andre Cisco, which you can hear the full interview if you go to any of the Jags, you know, or the 1010XL social media platforms, YouTube channel, what have you. It's all out there.
Yeah, and we'll be talking to Hayes in about 15 minutes.
Yes, we will.
He also had the chance to catch up with Devin Lloyd after practice. And Devin Lloyd, he asked about how camp has been for him so far here early on.
Good camp, just getting better every day, honestly. Feel really good in this game. Technically, you know, obviously just getting better every day and improving. That's all you could ask for, even if I was in year 13. You know, you just finding little ways to keep stacking 1%. Overall, I think having a pretty good camp, and just want to continue to keep doing that.
All right, what about Nielsen's coaching style, which everyone seems to rave about? How does Devin Lloyd feel about it?
An old school, tough mentality. It's really a mindset. You know, the scheme is one thing. I think the scheme, like I said, is very complex but super simple. He has organized it in a way where everything makes sense, and it's not kind of like relearning stuff over and over again. It's like, okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do for the rest of the year. So that's really good. And then it's a mindset that he has that, you know, everybody feeds off of. It's just a tough A mentality, you know, old school. And, you know, we love it. I love it. You know, it's what we need. The type of leader that he is, you know, it's what we need on this defense.
One more here from Devin Lloyd, then we'll get to the number 4s on all of our top 5s here this morning. Devin Lloyd was also asked which young players have been standing out to him.
I really like all the guys working hard. Obviously, you got Mason, Jerry, and, you know, those are kind of the guys that, you know, I see, you know, playing a lot, and they're improving every day. Trey's made some really good plays. Trey Prince, you know, like what he's doing right now. And then really just all the guys, you know, they're out working with the right mentality. You know, I see those guys really handling their business like a pro, so like that.
All right, hit it, Dylan. Let's get to number 4 in the countdown.
Number 4.
What do you got, Tone?
Mason Smith. Every report on Mason has been one of a play that he's made out at camp through the first couple of weeks, looking athletic. Winning the punt-catch contest yesterday against fellow rookie Javon Foster, where he caught all 3 punts, solidifies the athleticism that we talk about a little bit with Mason Smith. And in my mind, it at least puts him on the list of the top 5 for me today. All the reports that we've heard about Mason at this point have been very, very good. I'm curious to see what exactly they see his role being once we get into who's playing how much and where for this defense, because it does feel like that's going to limit his opportunities potentially a little bit, but all the early indications are that, yeah, they're getting what they thought they might be able to get out of that guy in the second round.
First guy that Devin Lloyd mentioned among young players to stand out is Mason Smith, who is number 4 on my list, Tony. I feel like you're cheating.
No.
Mason Smith, part of it is what your expectation was going into camp and how they performed in relation to that, right?
Sure.
Obviously, I'm not saying he's been the best defensive lineman, but he's having a really good camp for himself. I thought he could be a guy that gets in the mix, particularly on third down, right? As a guy who, can penetrate, but they've been raving about his ability against the run. And, so I think you're going to see him get mixed in at various times, Doug Peterson has talked about we're going to have an 8-man rotation. We want to do it the way we did it in Philadelphia, keep these guys fresh, have different combinations of players. And I think Mason Smith is earning some playing time here. He's a very intriguing prospect, let's call it, right now. That's why they drafted him in round 2. They felt like he had first-round upside, and he's brought a little bit of grit, right? Yeah. You know, a little fisticuffs, a little nasty to the defensive line as well. So I'm right there with you on Mason Smith. Now I'm wondering, are we going to have the identical top 5? We might.
We are not.
No, we're not. Okay, because that one was the outlier to me that I was curious about. Dylan, who you got it for?
Tank Bigsby. I've heard a lot of good about him. I kind of don't like doing this because I feel like I'm jinxing, kind of like doing like we were last year, and we were all high expectations, and then it just didn't happen. But Tank Bigsby's, I've heard a lot of good, and Baloo's been on this train that he thinks he's gonna have a good year, and I guess I'm kind of buying into it right now.
All right, Tank Bigsby at number 4. 2 votes for Mason Smith. You can submit yours social media wise or however you like to do it here. Coming up next, Hayes Carlyon, who spoke with both Andre Sisco and Devin Lloyd, has been out there at every Jaguar training camp practice. He joins us next right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Man, I am coming up on almost my 1-year anniversary with Awaken 180, where I had lost some weight, but I was kind of stuck on a number, wanted to get down to 225, and within a month, I was at my goal weight, dropping 26 pounds in practically no time. And quite frankly, it was easy. It wasn't something I had to suffer through. It something that I was able to change my eating habits in rapid fashion, was never hungry because you're eating all day. You eat to lose weight with Awaken 180. You learn how to eat, when to eat, what to eat, and it triggers your body into burning the stored fat that's already in there. And I tell you what, the great success on keeping it off as well. I'm actually a few pounds less than I was at this point at the end of my goal weight, and that's free coaching and support for life that you get once you hit that goal weight with Awaken 180. Call 844-346-1800, and you can be their next success story. That's 844-346-1800, or schedule a free consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Jenkins Genesis of Northeast Florida is coming soon and now hiring for technicians, sales, and all positions. If you or someone you know are looking for a new opportunity, apply online at genesisnortheastjacksonville.com. Equal opportunity employer.
Hicken here from my friends at golfteerepair.com. No, we don't really fix golf tees. We just want you to have some fun around the game we all love. Golf Tee Repair is just a Jacksonville company that makes affordable golf wear for Jacksonville dudes who love to play. Polos, t-shirts, hats, hoodies. Got to see it to believe it. golfteerepair.com. All natural materials for comfortable, breathable clothing. golfteerepair.com. Perfect to wear this summer and into September when you're at football game bound. Be comfortable in the heat. golfteerepair.com. They're terrific forever.
This patriotic chant mirrors the enthusiastic efforts our American athletes have dedicated to their quest for a gold medal at this summer's Olympics in Paris. USAPark.net Airport Parking is your safe and secure parking for when you fly out of JIA. No matter where you're going, whether you're traveling to the Olympics to support our athletes or just visiting Grandma, remember to park at USAPark.net.
Thermal Engineers is hiring. Thermal Engineers is a commercial HVAC contractor serving North Florida for over 20 years. Qualified technicians and installers. How does top pay, 401k, and full benefits sound? And a signing bonus. Is it time for a positive change in your career? Join the family-oriented commercial HVAC contractor at Thermal Engineers. Call 230-1172 or go to Thermal Engineers, Inc., an equal opportunity employer.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
We will be perfect.
Training camp.
You drop a pass, you run a mile.
Nobody covers camp like 1010XL. Get daily training camp coverage brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing and Kingfish Pest Control.
Perfection
on 1010XL.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
Ever wonder how you can transform your living spaces into captivating works of art? At First Coast Lighting and Fans, they offer a huge selection of high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness. Visit their showroom on Phillips Highway at the Avenues and step into a world of quality without compromise. Discover the difference that locally owned expertise makes and let them help you experience the transformation from average to extraordinary. At First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars' new center Mitch Morse spoke with the media this past weekend on newly drafted defensive tackle Mason Smith and is excited what he's seen so far and his potential to grow as a player this year.
Mason's got such a bright future in this league. You know, he's got the physical tools, of course, but you can see that he's got these spurts of just not only athletic power, but you know, he's really working some moves. And I think your first year is such a monumental growing experience in the football realm, right? Like, so it'll just be fun to see him and work with him as these weeks progress.
Sound courtesy of Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
It's hammer time. Hayes, the Hammer Carlyon, joining us now as we look through his eyes at everything that's gone on in training camp for the Jacksonville Jaguars to this point, because Hayes has seen it all up to this point. Hayes, good morning. Thanks for the time. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Great to be with you as always.
Likewise, sir. Glad you could join us here. I'm going to put you on the spot because you're tough and you're intelligent and you can think on your feet, okay? I don't know if you've seen –
my best.
Well, it's a Tuesday top 5. And we are asking people based on what they've seen and what they've heard, because not everyone can see every moment of practice. Who are the 5 Jaguars having the best training camp? You, Hayes, are a guy who does see every moment of training camp. So I will pose that question to you. There's no wrong answers. The first 5 guys that come to mind that are excelling in Jaguar training camp are whom?
Great question. Number 1 for me is easy. It's Devon Hamilton. He's been largely unblockable. So I think it starts with Devon Hamilton. I would say Christian Kirk is having an outstanding camp. Josh Hines-Allen would have to be in there, as would Trayvon. I really think Trayvon has done an outstanding job with building his rush plan up, and he's much more effective using his hands, going inside. So that's really exciting to see coming off a 10-sack season. And for the fifth guy, I'll go with Travis Etienne. I think he's made some really nice moves, good runs, knows what he's supposed to be doing, has been reliable as a receiver. So I think those star players have really shown up during this training camp so far.
I think that's fantastic. And I think, Tony, the difference between what I see the first third to half of practice, right? Sure. And we hear about certain guys that are popping. And if you're not there watching every day, maybe you don't see the consistency that Josh Hines-Allen is bringing every single time. But you just mentioned three guys on the D-line, Kirk and Etienne. Those are 5 frontline players for the Jags, and that's fantastic to hear, Tone.
No doubt about it. What are your takeaways here early on, Hayes, just from the new-look Ryan Nielsen defense a couple of weeks now into camp?
I think they could actually be pretty scary on defense. I don't think it'll be like 2017, but again, that's not just a high bar for the Jaguars. That's a high bar for any NFL franchise. That defense was one of the best that the league has seen in the last decade. So, but I think they could be, right under it. I mean, I think they could easily be the second best defense that we've seen here under Shad Khan's ownership. And so in looking at, and the reason I say that is I think they now can hurt you at every level. Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen, that is going to be, if they stay healthy, that is going to be a problem for every team that the Jaguars play. The fact that Devon Hamilton is back to his form. I mean, he had an incredible training camp last year and just never got to build off of it because of the back injury. And so now he's back. So you have that dominant inside presence. Mason Smith looks good. As a rotational player early on, he looks good. We haven't seen Eric Armstead yet, which is probably my biggest concern of training camp. But Doug Peterson was asked yesterday about him and, said where he's getting closer, but I have no doubt we'll have him available for the Dolphins. So that was great to hear. So, and you got Roy Robertson Harris, who has done some good things. I haven't really noticed him much in this camp, but he's done some good things as a Jaguar. Then you've got Foye and Devin Lloyd at linebacker. You've got Tyson Campbell and Andre Sisco's having. I mean, it's hard to leave Sisco out. If I could have a 6 spot, he'd have to be 6 because heck, he had 3 picks yesterday. But he has been consistently good throughout the camp. So as you look at this defense, you're not going to have 11 superstars. No NFL team can obviously have that. But they have problems at every level that the offense is going to have to account for. And so I think defensively they have a chance to be outstanding. So for me, it starts with the talent. Because, yes, Ryan Nielsen certainly looks like he's going to be a massive upgrade over Mike Caldwell. But you have to have the players. And so I think Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson deserve credit because I really do think they've now built this defense up to where they've got a lot of promising players. And, and again, that trio of Devon Hamilton, Andre Sisco, and Devin Lloyd, I think is really intriguing because they're not really the superstars of the defense. The superstars are Josh and Trayvon and Tyson. So those three, Sisco, Hamilton, and Lloyd, are almost this axis of excellence because if those three have huge years, and I think they all three could, then that's going to propel this defense from, above average to very good. And that's where I think it's trending. So, I'm eager to see how they hold up in the series or two they'll have Saturday against the Chiefs. And then, we'll see how they hold up against Tampa Bay. But I'm really excited about where this defense is headed. But for me, it's more the talent that they have. And I think to Ryan Nielsen's credit, he's recognized that and says, look, we're not going to do anything overly exotic here. We're just going to line up and go play and let our athletes be our athletes.
The axis of excellence. I like that, Hayes. We'll see if that sticks. They got to play up to it this year.
They do.
When you mentioned that your biggest concern in training camp is, the non-availability so far of Eric Armstead, I think a lot of people's biggest concern are the injuries on the offensive line. And what does that show you in terms of what they have depth-wise? Now, we anticipate Anton Harrison to be back, and hopefully that concussion issue will be behind him. I know Cam Robinson worked already in limited fashion, so it doesn't seem like the shoulder is too big of a deal. But, you got Ezra Cleveland banged up. What is your thought right now about the state of affairs on the O-line?
It certainly is a concern, just in general, because, again, it's just hard to see them becoming this physical unit, and I think that's by design, but you just still worry that that's going to creep up in critical moments and short yardage situations, but that's more how they've built it than it is anything else. Cam Robinson is gutting through practice, and hopefully he'll be fine. And to your point about Harrison, it seems like he thinks he's going to be a day or so. So hopefully nothing overly serious there. Ezra Cleveland has a heel. We'll see how that goes. But even and I like the fact that they re-signed Ezra Cleveland, because I do think it was a difficult chore for him coming over at the deadline last year, and he was already hurt, and then and he had to sort of bounce around once he became a Jaguar because of their own injury situation. So I didn't want to judge Ezra Cleveland on last year, because I just didn't think it was fair. And he may be great at left guard, but boy, I've gotten more able to see him, because when he came here last year at the deadline, we couldn't really watch him practice. So this is the first time that I've been able to kind of see Ezra Cleveland day in and day out. And, they talk about, well, he's so fast and athletic as a guard. Well, I hope so, because his lower body is basically, it's about as slight as any offensive lineman that I've ever seen. So, it goes back to, they've built this line where, they prioritize speed and movement and agility. And it just makes you wonder when they get in those situations, at the goal line or third and short, are they going to be able to just hand the ball off and get a yard? And, I think that's still very much up in the air. Tank Bigsby's look good. He's another player that's had a good camp. But if he doesn't have anywhere to go, it's going to be difficult. And the same for Travis Etienne if they elected to use their star back on those short yardage situations.
What does how good the Jaguars' defensive line, which you've heaped a lot of praise on here in just the last couple minutes, Hayes, what does how good that group has looked tell you about where the Jaguars' offensive line is at this point?
It hasn't been dominating, so that's good. I'm not down on the offensive line. But I do think it's an area of concern. But a lot of that's just until we see them do something. They averaged 3.6 yards a carry last year as an offense. So, and really only made, one new move. Ezra Cleveland, I think you can kind of count as a new player, but certainly just Mitch Morris is the only starter that wasn't here last year. So I think it's just going to be a concern until we get into the season and see that they can do it. But I think they've held their own. The defensive line has had a great camp, but it hasn't been oh my gosh, this offensive line is just so horrible, they can't block them. I just think it's the development of the defensive line and just the wave that now they can bring at you. So I think the defensive front the Jaguars have is going to end up being, one of the top 8 units in the NFL, if not higher, if they don't get, a ton of injuries. But I really like the rotation that they potentially could throw out there. And you have to love the combo of Trayvon and Josh with Armstead and Devon Hamilton and Mason Smith and Roy Robertson Harris as well in there to hopefully give you some inside push.
Got a couple minutes left here with Hayes Carlyon, Jaguars embedded reporter with 1010XL and the Frangie Show. Hayes, I think one of the biggest question marks among position groups coming into camp was cornerback outside of Tyson Campbell, who obviously they feel is in store for big things with the extension that they gave him. And I think, I've been pleasantly surprised by what I've seen with my own eyes as well as reports about how they're performing. How good is this group potentially when you talk about the overall defense being really good? What about the cornerback position specifically?
Yeah, I think Ronald Darby's had a better camp than I anticipated. I thought they'd be in trouble if he was the week 1 starter, and he's held up well. I still am really excited about Jarian Jones, and I think eventually it'll be his job. But he was going to have to clearly beat out Darby to be the Week 1 starter because that's Miami's strength is what they have at receiver. So, to play a rookie Week 1 at that position, the rookie was going to have to be light years ahead of the veteran, and it hasn't been that. And so, we still have a month to go, but I would say Darby's been better than I thought. I still think Jarian Jones is going to be a great player here. Savage, it's just hard to tell because he's been non-contact the whole time, and so we'll see how that continues to go at nickel. And Antonio Johnson seems to be doing really well. I mean, I can't think of an instance where a coverage has been blown, and really at all. But even in saying that, I can't remember Antonio Johnson ever getting special coaching because he made a mistake or anything like that. So I think he's fit in really well at safety. So and Cisco, as we mentioned, is really proving that he can generate turnovers in large quantities. So I think the secondary in general you have to really like. But I'd say the surprise has been Ronald Darby. Now, does that hold up once they get into the season? We'll see. But I have been pleasantly surprised with Ronald Darby.
All right, Hayes, we played some of the audio from your visits with Andre Cisco and Devin Lloyd from yesterday. You continue to crush it in that regard. Absolutely, bro. So what's coming up today on the Frangie Show for you guys?
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I have an interview with Devon Hamilton that we recorded on yesterday. So we'll play that since the Jaguars aren't practicing today. So we'll have that interview with Devon Hamilton, and we'll continue to break down every aspect of the team as we now, thankfully, we can see the first game. It's not that far away now, so it's getting close. The monotony of camp is over. We've got a game Saturday, and then the Bucs roll in next week, and you're off and running, and then you can really start to see the Dolphins opener on the horizon.
Yeah, always fun when you see the first team on the field, and you'll see them for a drive or two on Saturday, but really looking forward to those joint practices with Tampa Bay next week, and certainly the reporting of Hayes Carlyon. Hayes, we appreciate the time as always, man. I'll see you out there tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Thank you, buddy. Hayes Carlyon, you can find him at his name on Twitter, Carlyon, just like it sounds. Good stuff, Tony. A lot of different avenues you could go there in terms of guys having good camps, but Hayes went with a lot of the frontline guys, which is really what you want.
Yeah.
To have these guys be standing out. I think Trevor Lawrence had such a rough start to camp that if you could wipe that out in the last 10 days or so, he's been very, very good, despite the interception yesterday that Andre Cisco got him. He was getting everybody yesterday. All right, coming up, we'll continue the countdown of the 5 guys. From our perspective, we're having great training camps for the Jags. We've got a pair of tickets to the Jags Chiefs to give away for you, as well as we get into hour 2. Also hear from a couple of offensive linemen that Hacker was able to catch up with out at practice yesterday. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Cruise to victory lane with 1010XL.
Here they come, checker flag.
This Sunday at Richmond, brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Regular movement is key to so many health benefits. Aim for at least 10,000 steps a day. Decide to only take the stairs if you're walking less than 6th floor. Never park in the first 10 spaces of the parking lot. Walk during your work breaks. Get up 10 minutes earlier in the morning and take a short, brisk walk before the chaos of the day starts. There are so many easy ways to stay active. Let's get moving, Jacksonville.
Like to learn how to fly an airplane? Well, you're not alone. High Flying Jacko here, inviting you to listen Sunday morning. We'll start your aviation career with a 60-minute ride on the airwaves of 1010XL. The High Flying Show, Sunday at 9 on 1010XL.
Meet Jennifer, talking about her experience with BioTarget Regenerative Therapy at Injury Care Centers.
I'm a music teacher and play the piano, and I was unable to play the piano at all due to pain from carpal tunnel. I did notice a significant difference after the first treatment. I was in immense pain and unable to work, and I woke up the following day able to fully move my wrist again. I was a pill popper. I would take ibuprofen all the time to help manage my pain, and it did not really do a great job. What really sold me was knowing that if it was not successful, I'd be able to get all of my money back. So I would highly recommend it to anybody who's experiencing any type of pain.
Stop masking your pain with harmful medications. There's a better solution. BioTarget Regenerative Therapy has helped countless others, and it can help you too. Call 904-92-REGEN or visit GoBioTarget.com today.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Do it with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
Baseball is back. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, presented by FIS, takes the field this season at 1-1 Financial Ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. Tickets start at just $5, fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids run the bases after every Sunday game. JackShrimp.com, Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family fun.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
David Ammon here with Zero Res. So Ammon, your mom mentioned it's been a year since we did a complete house cleaning. The kitchen tile and living room floors are looking pretty dingy. It's time to call Zero Res.
That's right. Most folks know that Zero Res does an amazing job at cleaning their carpets and rugs, but they don't know that Zero Res can clean their tile and grout, LVP, and wood floors.
And right now, Zero Res is offering 25% off all hard floor cleaning. Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle. With APRs in the 5s, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update, brought to you by JEA. After completing the first week of preseason camp for the Florida Gators, head coach Billy Napier addressed to the media, stressing the importance of creating a covenant between the team, while adding new rules to this year's camp.
You need covenant, right? You need three things to have a covenant. You need bond, you need pledge, and you need commitment. And I think that one of the things we've been emphasizing throughout training camp is that bond, that connection, that chemistry, that morale. New rules for training camp this year, right? So no phones in the training table, no phones in the recovery area. Being intentional, put that phone down and have an opportunity to spend some meaningful time together and connect.
It's 79 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, coming up, Hack was able to catch up with a couple of guys who right now are reserves on the offensive line. Tyler Shatley, Luke Fortner. I hope they get to remain reserves, which means that the guys, when it's time for the real action to take place, are healthy. And right now, there's no reason to think they won't be, at least for the opener, barring any further setbacks. But still, like to get that resolved as quickly as possible. Hope we see Anton Harrison back on the practice field tomorrow. Still got a pair of tickets to give away. And we gave you what the cue to call will be when you hear it. I'm not going to repeat it because somebody will say, hey, you just said it. No, I didn't. You'd be the fifth caller, and Dylan will hook you up with a pair of tickets to go see the Jags and Chiefs this weekend. At least see probably a series or two out of maybe each team's starters.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all plays out. And that's really the most telling part of the game. And then guys trying to make the roster out there, scrambling like crazy to make an impact and catch your eye. We'll get back to the countdown of our top 5 players having the best training camps from what we have observed, either through our own eyes or camp reports by the likes of Hayes Carlyon and others. But, Tony, why don't we take a moment and go around the rest of the National Football League?
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Speaking of Kansas City, who will be here on Saturday, Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker and the Chiefs have agreed to terms on a 4-year, $25.6 million extension that will make him the NFL's highest paid kicker. Cincinnati defensive end Cameron Sample has a torn Achilles and will be out for the entire 2024 season. Get well soon, E.T. Seattle quarterback Geno Smith returned to practice on Monday after missing the last 4 days out at Seahawks training camp. Cleveland linebacker Zadarius Smith was carted off the practice field on Monday after going to the ground and grabbing at his left leg. The MRI for Carolina receiver Xavier Leggett showed no fracture in his foot, and he is considered day-to-day for the Panthers. Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua left practice on Sunday with an unspecified knee injury that isn't considered very serious, but he is expected to be held out of training camp practice for a little while. He's being called week to week on his return there for the Rams. Minnesota wide receiver Jordan Addison has been assigned an October 7th arraignment and plea hearing in Los Angeles after he was found sleeping at the wheel of his car by an LAPD officer last month and was later charged with 2 misdemeanors, driving under the influence of alcohol and driving with a .08 blood alcohol content. And San Francisco has given Brandon Ayuk permission to negotiate contracts with other teams. They are open to trading him now. That's the first time that it's been this open with all of this news in an offseason where that's been on the table, off the table, on the table, off the table throughout the offseason. Now it sounds like it's officially on the table. Teams can reach out to Ayuk and negotiate a deal and then talk to San Francisco about whatever the compensation will be going back to the team as well. But business is open now on the San Francisco wide receiver.
So Tim Jones, Elijah Cooks, and Joshua Cephas and a fourth. Who says no?
Probably the 49ers.
Probably the Niners?
Yes or yes.
Probably the Niners on that one.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. If Cleveland and New England, as the reporting was last night, Matt Mayoko, I think, out in San Francisco was the first to report that they had agreements in place, basically, where San Francisco would accept their compensation.
Yeah.
They got to know what Ayuk is looking for, right? I mean, it's pretty evident. You know, the reports have been that the Niners are somewhere in the 20s, and he wants like at least $30 million a year, right? So they have to know kind of the
Wants
ballpark.
to be paid among the handful of the highest paid receivers in the league.
You don't go ahead and try to get this far in the process unless you're willing to pay the freight.
I don't know why you would, yeah.
So that leads me to believe that Brandon Ayuk doesn't want to play for either one of those teams, quite frankly. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Pittsburgh and Washington, about teams he would like to play for potentially. They've got to, you know, the Niners can just still sit back and go, what are you going to do? You know, he's going to show up at some point and play because he's got to accrue this year towards free agency. But, you know, I see like suggestions that Amari Cooper in a first-round pick. I'm like, if I'm the Niners, I may chip in a couple $1 million on top of that to pay for whatever gap there is between what Cleveland is offering, what Ayuk is seeking to go play for the Browns. That'd be a great deal for San Francisco.
Yeah, and I think the Cooper deal has something $20 million plus dead money next year.
Right,
on the deal
he's
for
basically
Cleveland
on a one-year deal.
Yeah,
right? But that's where Ayuk is at right now.
Yeah,
and if you're getting a first-round pick, like the holdup has been, hey, we don't just want draft compensation next year. That doesn't help us this year.
Right.
Amari Cooper's had 7 1,000-yard seasons. You put him out there, you know, with Brock Purdy. I don't think they miss much of a beat. They're different.
Yeah,
they're both great route runners. Ayuk's super physical in the run game, which, you know, is a trait that I think coaches appreciate more than fans do, certainly.
Yeah, and San Francisco has the advantage of whatever kind of player of that caliber that would be talked about going back and to their end of that deal, probably is not going to be complaining about going to the 49ers.
No.
Right? They'll be like, okay, cool.
Like Kendrick Bourne. You know, there's been a lot of speculation. Kendrick Bourne plus draft picks. Like Kendrick Bourne has played for the Niners. Are you kidding me? You go from New England to San Francisco in the current state of affairs. And
like even Amari Cooper, he's at the level that he's at, being traded to San Francisco, I doubt he'd be like, no way. Like, I think he'd be like, all right, let's see what happens out in San Francisco. Yeah.
I agree, especially as loaded as the AFC is.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, they were in the Super Bowl last year. So
they were.
To me, if he was, now maybe I'll be wrong and maybe he'll get traded to one of those spots today. Maybe they sweeten whatever they're offering him too. Who knows? But I got to believe that if he was willing to play for either one of those teams, we'd hear about a deal getting done already. So still a lot of moving parts. Trio of bench guys at a fourth. Saying. All right, where are we at in the countdown here? Pockets number 3, I believe?
Number 3.
I was correct. All right, we're counting down the 5 Jaguars we feel are having the best training camps based on what we're seeing and hearing to this point in time. A lot of good candidates, as Hayes Carlyon, you know, ran through a list of 5 guys that I'll tell you right now, I don't have any of them on my list, and that's fine. It's kind of a personal perspective on this. At number 3, Tony, I found it hard. He was having a solid camp anyway, but after yesterday's performance, to not have Andre Cisco in this top 5, it was going to be difficult to leave him out. He's been having a really good camp, and, you know, some guys get motivated by the fact that they're in a contract year. Other guys kind of pout about it. He certainly doesn't seem like he's pouting. Picked off all 3 of the Jaguar quarterbacks yesterday. There's been little concern with, you know, like in terms of how that secondary is coming together. Campbell and Cisco, those are the 2 guys you know you can count on. The other pieces maybe in flux to some degree right now. But, I mean, I almost felt like yesterday alone was almost enough to put him there. But he had been consistently having reports that he was solid, he wasn't getting burned, and he took that to a higher level, I felt, yesterday. So I put Cisco at 3. I had Cam Little at 5, Mason Smith at 4, and Andre Cisco at 3. Dylan, who you got at 3?
Number 3, Ronald Darby. Somebody that started camp really well. You haven't heard his name as much in the last week or so. But those first, 3 or 4 days, I think that was the only person that was, jumping off the page because he was, guarding Brian Thomas Jr. He was doing pretty well against him, jamming him up. And it wasn't a name that I was really expecting to hear his name a lot in camp. You know, it was kind of uncertain where the DB group, how it was going to shuffle out. Then we just had Hayes on, and he kind of echoed that he's expected to be the Week 1 starter.
Yeah, and Hayes expected Jarian Jones to be that guy throughout the summer, and it sounds like Darby is holding him off. And this is a guy, they obviously went out and targeted as a fit for the way Ryan Nielsen likes to run his defense and has not disappointed to this point.
He's a really good pro. right? He's had the injuries that have gotten in the way from time to time for Darby, but when he's been on the field, wherever he's been, he's been a really, really good pro. Number 3 for me is Trevor Lawrence. Slow start, basically on fire since the pads went on last week. Threw his first interception in the 5 or 6 padded practices they've had yesterday. That, as you mentioned, Andre Cisco was the one that was on the receiving end of that one. But Trevor Lawrence, since that first week where they threw the offense into the fire to start training camp this year, and I have no problem with them handling it that way early on. But Trevor Lawrence has had, I mean, you can use 2 hands probably to count the incompletions he's had in team periods since that point in time. He's been great out there at camp since that time, enough to be number 3 on the list for me today. All
right, there you go, Trevor Lawrence. He didn't, for me, as I said, he's not on my list. It was a rough start to camp. I feel like there have been guys who've been more consistently high level at what they're asked to do. Obviously, look, you're right. The last 9 days or so, that was the first turnover that he's had. So he's taken it to heart, and he's definitely on an upward trend, but not enough to make my cut, but that's okay because it's everyone's own personal list. We'll roll through some of these that we're getting in a little bit later as well. We got other business to take care of the pockets. It has begun. All right, there you go. Let's just get that out of the way right now. 5th caller at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines, and Dylan will hook you up with a pair of ducats to go see the Jaguars play the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend, and there you go. And you'll be off and rolling. So it has begun, the mad dash to get your tickets electronically delivered to you right now, and there they all go. The phone lines are blowing up at the moment. All right, we've got still to come that guy right there who I did a fair imitation of, Ryan the Hacker Green, who's done an excellent job, I think, catching up with a variety of players at practice over the course of the last couple of weeks of training camp, and yesterday was no exception. Tyler Shatley, who we spoke with over the weekend, and I know, Shatley told Hack, his first guy he told, that this is going to be his last year in the National Football League. So I have no reason at the moment to believe he's not going to make this roster, Tony, although we've looked at the combinations before of how many are they going to keep. You got young guys who are developmental, but you also see with Ezra Cleveland missing some time, Shatley's the immediate replacement at the moment. So I think his roster spot for the time being is pretty safe. They know what they have in Tyler Shatley. He's got some versatility to play multiple positions in there, and just one of the longest tenured Jags ever. And hopefully he'll make an impact in a positive way if called upon this year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, I think Dylan's got the winner on the line, but Dylan, if you can multitask it, let's take it to break here, and we'll come back with number 2 in the countdown. We'll hear from Shatley. We'll hear from Luke Fortner as well, how he's dealing with being the one guy who got replaced on that offensive line this offseason. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Now, a 1010XL Summer Olympic Update brought to you by
USAPark.net Airport Parking.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2024 Summer Games. What a game. Men's basketball quarterfinals. Serbia erased a 24-point first-half deficit and stunned Australia in overtime, 95-90. Nikola Jokic, 21 points and 14 rebounds. Patty Mills had 26 for Australia, including the basket to force OT with 1 second left. Serbia awaits the winner of the U.S. and Brazil coming up this afternoon. Getting started right now, women's volleyball quarterfinals, the U.S. and Poland. The winner gets Brazil. About an hour from now, women's soccer semifinals, the U.S. and Germany. A rematch from pool play. The U.S. won that one 4-1. China retakes the lead in gold medals over the U.S. 22-21 after winning in women's 10-meter platform diving. 79 medals overall for Team USA, 24 more than China. With this Summer Games update, Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Wellness means something different to each of us. And at Westin Hotels and Resorts, we believe every step is an opportunity to enhance your well-being. Whether it's guided group runs and workout gear on demand, or nourishing food options and restorative rest in our heavenly bed, when you travel, you can find wellness at Westin, one of 30 hotel brands in the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio. Find wellness at Westin.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need any special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
Hey there, Weekend Warriors. It's Matt Hayes. Sick of that slice? Tired of those 3-putts? What if I told you your handicap isn't about your swing, it's about your weight? Why not take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with the Waco 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August, getting your tour card by September, winning your first major. Year 1. Think about it. Fame, fortune, and most important, winning $5 off your buddy because you, sir, are closest to the pin. Taking strokes off your game is just about 40 pounds away at Awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken 180 does not guarantee an immediate 10 strokes off your score, receiving a tour card, or the ability to control the weather. Individual results may vary. Your newfound athleticism might cause jealousy among your foursome, leading to accusations of steroid use. Awaken is not responsible for defending your honor in the clubhouse. Awaken 180 cannot guarantee that your newfound golf prowess will lead to a sponsorship deal, but we can't not guarantee it either. Awaken 180 is not responsible for any dramatic fist pumps or unsolicited golf tips you give to strangers. Awaken 180 does not offer refunds for any lost wagers made on your improved golf game. Bet wisely, my friend. Strokes off your game by dropping pounds off your frame. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Oh, no.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and you've got so much going on Atlantic near Regency. Greg, tell them about the boats that you have.
I tell you, we've got a full line of coach pontoons, and we just got the new Honda Seabrook series. It's a 19-foot center console, all with legendary Honda outboards.
And that means you can get on the water, you can enjoy a smooth ride, and great Honda technology.
Absolutely. You'll never be left behind with a Honda.
And don't forget, Scout Pontoon Boats. They're both there on the lot. Check them out. Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency or cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Join the fun with XL Primetime, Friday at Firehouse Subs in San Marco. Get pictures and autographs from Jags players, cheerleaders, and Jackson DeVille. 2 to 4 Friday at Firehouse Subs in San Marco.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra, maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Jeff Lagerman here. Now that football season is here, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASE certified professionals at any of the 27 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions, and more. Napa Auto Care offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace-of-mind warranty on most repairs. Find a Napa Auto Care Center near you. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving, they can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
This is Hayes Carlyon for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Jaguars Today
on 1010XL.
I guess congrats to Randy, who was the proper caller and won a pair of tickets to go see the Jags and the Chiefs coming up this weekend. We're going to have more throughout the week, by the way, on various shows. So just be listening throughout the course of the day. If you missed out in the last break there, then there'll be more opportunities for you coming your way. I'll ask you, I don't know the answer is, did you get the good parking?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah. And so it's always a question of, where's the parking going to come on game day? And me and your boy Tony over here, we're there later than pretty much everybody.
Sure. I had talked to the person in the building who handing all those things out just a few days ago, and they were on the same page. They were like, we know, I got you and
gotcha.
Mike. Right?
Because did you get the second email that I got? Like the first one said you're going to be parking.
Yeah. I meant Jay. Yeah.
And I meant Jay. Yeah. I was like, and to that person, I replied, this is my favorite email of the day. The follow-up. Because I think this year, Brian Sexton, JP Shadrick, myself will be doing our portion of the pregame out of the Miller Electric Center.
Correct.
Right? As they're transitioning everything over there. Ultimately, when the Jags go on the road in 27, the whole thing will be out of there as they're doing the stadium refurbishment and whatnot. So they're breaking up the team a little bit, Cone. We've had this great bond of myself, you, Linda Fortunato, Donna Murphy, of course, Brian and JP, just, hanging out, venting our grievances when things go poorly for the Jags and celebrating crazily when things go well. It is really, we do ride the emotional roller coaster in that little room.
No doubt.
But I'm happy to hear that you got the good stuff.
I got the good stuff.
Because I wasn't giving you mine. I'm not that nice of a guy, as you should know by now. All right, let's get to Hack, who is a heck of a nice guy. And really has been doing an excellent job running down a lot of these players, starters, reserves, key reserves, what have you. Caught up with a couple of offensive linemen over the course of the weekend, and I think that included yesterday, perhaps with Fortner, but I know he talked with Tyler Shatley at the stadium practice on Saturday. So let's hear a few thoughts from Tyler Shatley. And, playing next to, right now, he's your starting left guard due to circumstance with Ezra Cleveland banged up a little bit. Hopefully that will not last for very long. But when he is, he's lining up next to the one guy that is the true replacement offensive lineman, Mitch Morse, and Shatley was asked by Hack what Morse has brought to this offensive line group.
Mitch brings a lot of wisdom. He's seen so much, played the game for a long time at a very high level. Javon, another great player, a young kid, got a lot of athleticism. Things that we can just kind of build on, and good to have those guys. A couple of guys too, like Stephen Jones, young guy. He's a lot of potential as well. So I think I really like our room right now. It's great guys, great teammates. So.
Great guys, great teammates. Hopefully they're great getting push and short yardage.
Sure.
That would help.
Speaking of young guys, there's a couple of young guys that everyone out there on the offensive line has had the responsibility of trying to block here through the first couple weeks of camp. And Tyler was asked by Hack just what he's seeing from Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson here early on.
I don't know. They keep getting faster and stronger or something. I don't know. They're good. Mason's, but he's strong. He's so long, man. And Jordan, another good player, long, strong. It's cool to see. I think we got a lot of good young talent, and those guys are working hard.
He's like, I had enough, man. You kind of keep sending me waves of guys out of LSU. By the way, on the back to the Morse thing just quickly, I considered in our top 5 doing a Morse Sheriff combo on one of the lines because they're the two that have been – consistently, you don't hear anything really negative about anything that they've gotten. They've gotten some wins, certainly in one-on-ones.
Still out there.
And they're healthy.
Yeah.
Like the old guys are the healthy guys right now. But anyway, and this is where we found out that Tyler Shatley is looking to hang it up and call it a career in a Jaguar uniform, as he told Hack he was taking in his final stadium practice this weekend.
It's very important. Like you said, I'd love to stay here and being able to know that this is my last one, just kind of soak up these moments. As grueling as camp can be, man, this is the last time I'll do the stadium practice. And, last time I'll be sitting in some of these meetings and just enjoy that time with the guys, with the team,
You do expect this to be your final season?
I do, yeah.
There you go. A little breaking news from Hack this weekend and from Shatley himself. So, hey, that's a hell of a career, man. You know what I mean? He's not making $20 million a year. He's doing just fine compared to normal human beings, and it looks like he's getting ready to get out while he's still healthy enough to enjoy whatever comes next for him.
Yeah, going to be 5th on the Jags all-time games played list.
Crazy.
And if he gets in all 17 this year, he'll still be 5th, 4 or 6 games behind Josh Scobie, who's 4th on the list with 168. Shatley has 145 going into this year.
You got Mercedes. You got Jimmy Smith.
Mercedes at 170. Jimmy Smith at 171. And Brad Meester, 209.
Yeah, Meester's put it out there. Pretty good.
Games played in a Jags uniform. Hacker also had the chance to catch up with Luke Fortner, now going into year 3, no longer going to be the starting center for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But he was asked by Hack what he's learned from Morrison playing a little bit of guard here early on in camp.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Anytime you get to learn from a guy who's been playing at such a high level for such a long time, you can't waste that opportunity. So it's been great to have him, learn a bunch of stuff from him, and then it's right, bump over to guard and kind of get a feel for what those guys have been doing. And, I think playing guard is just going to make me a better center, better guard, better offensive lineman overall.
Well, look, again, I hope none of these guys are forced to play.
Yeah.
Because if they're not, that means the offensive line is staying healthy. But, for Luke Fortner, it had to be tough, right? You're not blind and deaf. You hear what's being said, and if you're on social media, you see it. And, for him, who'd started every game since he got here in Jacksonville a couple of years ago, it said, when you basically are told you got a new guy coming in to take your spot, it's been a motivating offseason.
It's motivating from our inner selves. We knew we were going to go to the playoffs, right? And then we were wrong. So you got to figure out where you went wrong, why you thought you were going to and you didn't. And I think for us, before all the outside criticism comes in, we as a unit we were down bad to start, when that happened. But it's obviously a huge motivation. I think the other thing is last year, I think we took too much of what had happened the year before and brought it into last year. So I think there's a balance there of obviously it's motivation, but this is a new team, this is a new unit, you know what I mean? So just trying to balance those two.
All right, there you go. You can hear the full interviews over on the 1010XL.com on-demand section. You can YouTube channels, social media channels, they are all over the place. If you're not hearing them, it's because you don't want to at this point in time. But great work by team coverage here by our friends all across up and down the dial on 1010XL, bringing you the sounds of training camp for the Jags. So while we've got a moment, let's continue our countdown.
Number 2.
I don't know where we are. I think, Tony, why don't you jump in with your number 2?
Sure. Number 2 for me, Josh Hines Allen. There have been multiple daily reports, probably about 5 days now, where I've seen reports from guys down there that have said Josh is everywhere, right? Like that's been the kind of a consensus thing with Josh here early on in training camp. And look, we all know what happened with his offseason, but he's been dominating virtually all of his reps on a given day 4 or 5 times. It was great to hear that from Hayes as well. Like even before hearing that from Hayes, I had my list of 5 put together, and I've had Josh at this spot, number 2 on my list, given how people that have been out there have been reacting to what he's done. As you said when we were talking to Hayes about this, it's great to hear that the players that we expect to be dominant are being dominant out there at Jaguars training camp.
Or we need to be dominant,
right?
Being dominant.
And Josh certainly fits that category. For this football team, he's expected to be the best player on the defensive side of the ball for this team going into the year. He's playing like it in camp to this point. Number 2 on my list today.
Dylan, who you got?
Andre Cisco, a guy who got a couple picks yesterday in practice. He's, like you said, he's in that contract year. Probably the next guy to be paid if he has a good year. And, he's one of the guys probably going to excel in this new defense with Ryan Nielsen. He said earlier, somebody said, he's able to fly around a little bit more in this Ryan Nielsen defense.
All right. For me, number 2, one guy who's on Dylan's list already, Tank Bigsby. Right? I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be the best player on the team, but it's hard to deny. With my own eyes, I've seen him perform very well. He's protected the ball, which is important. That was a big issue for him last year. But, he's run hard. He's, I think, excelled at catching the ball out of the backfield as well. And as for now, unless I see him take a major step backwards, Tony, I feel pretty confident that he can mix in and not have a dramatic fall off. I'm not saying he's Travis Etienne, but you don't expect him to be. And, can he contribute in short yardage? Well, a lot of that's going to be on the offensive line, but Tank Bigsby generally getting daily praise for the way he has performed out there. And, that's one I've been able to see with my own eyes. So I felt that was an easy pick to have in my top 5. All right, when we come back, we'll have number 1 on the countdown, and we'll run through some of your lists as well as we work through who we think are the top 5 performers thus far in Jaguars training camp. It's Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Food, sandwiches, subs, all the fixins you want breakfast, man, they've got it as well. Maybe you're going to head out to a training camp practice or 2 still to come. There's plenty of them still on the docket. And you know what? You don't want to necessarily get up and make yourself French toast in the morning. Hey, French toast is delicious. Dandy knows that. They've got it. They've got buttermilk biscuits. They've got soft, flaky croissants, light, tasty maple waffles, sizzling country sausage, black forest ham, thick sliced bacon, peppered fried eggs, creamy Wisconsin cheddar cheese, and on, and all the many combinations you can imagine with these different breakfast staples. Dandy's got you covered at any time, and they know, hey, look, breakfast is good any time of the day. So as you're driving around Duval and you want to get in out of the weather, or for whatever reason, you're just a little grumble in your belly, head to the Fresh Case at your local gate station and check out all that Dandy has to offer. Dandy's the name to know when you're hungry in Duval. So when you are, do what I do and go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe here with your daily reminder to get on Tropic Time. Take 10. Sip a refreshing smoothie and manifest that you're a Cabana-side. Slade Hot Yoga? Treat yourself. Crushed back-to-back meetings? Get that me time. Adulted a little extra today? You deserve a vacay. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. And look who's back and causing a stir. Our refreshing Island Punch, Mango Berry Cosmo, and Watermelon Mojito mocktail smoothies are here for a limited time.
This is Chelsea with Renewal by Andersen Custom Windows and Doors. Here's what people are saying about working with us.
Installers were professional, courteous, and efficient.
Great customer service. On time, explained the process, and walked me through the installation. Amazing team.
Our experience with Renewal by Andersen was outstanding from the beginning to end.
Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Renewal by Andersen, Custom Windows and Doors.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go through.
For an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Get fishing tips and stories from Captain Kevin.
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon.
On the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Whoa!
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
Are you tired of living with constant pain from torn ligaments or nagging tendinitis and bothersome joint pain? Say goodbye to endless medications and invasive surgeries. Go BioTarget Regenerative Treatment is available only at injury care centers. Their innovative approach helps you recover faster and get back to doing what you love without drugs or surgery. Don't just treat the symptoms, target the root cause with BioTarget. Visit GoBioTarget.com to learn more and schedule your appointment today.
I am dedicated. I am TNT.
With Team in Training, you will reach your best physical self so blood cancer patients can reach theirs. Change your life by joining a marathon, half marathon, triathlon, or a cycle event, and you'll change the lives of blood cancer patients.
I am committed. I am TNT.
After 600,000 participants and almost $1 billion raised for treatments, TNT has helped the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society make a significant impact in the advancement of blood cancer therapies that save lives every day.
I am making a difference. I am TNT.
Join TNT. Expand your circle of friends to be part of a very special community. Train with world-class trainers and have the chance to be part of the most exciting endurance sports events in the country. Or train on your own schedule with TNT Flex. Join TNT and fundraise while you train and take part in getting us all closer to a world without blood cancers.
Join TNT now. Go to teamintraining.org.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water throughout your home, call your local water boy. We install equipment to solve any water problem. WaterboyJAX.com.
If you're an experienced, skilled plumber or welder that's MedGas certified and you're tired of working for a company that just doesn't treat you right, Local 234 is the place for you. Their pay is the best in the business. You'll walk away with $35.09 an hour in your pocket. With benefits, that's just over $50 an hour. Local 234 has been around since 1901, and that means something. Visit UA234.com to send your resume. Local 234. Make the right connection.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Wide receiver Gabe Davis, who signed with the Jags as an unrestricted free agent back in March, spoke with media on day 11 of camp on the chemistry with the wide receivers and the focus of building chemistry with Trevor.
It's good. The receivers are great, man. It's awesome being in this room. Love all the guys in there. And then with Trevor, we're continue to keep trying to build that chemistry each and every day. I feel like we got our slants down packed. He kind of hits me where I want him every single time, and our slim routes are real successful. So, but other than that, we just keep going and keep trying to get on the same page.
Sound courtesy from Jaguars.com. I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, coming down to the cool down on our personal top 5 lists based on our own observations, what we're hearing from our many friends and reporters here at 1010XL and elsewhere about what's coming out of training camp. Who are the 5 Jacksonville Jaguars that you feel are having the best camps out there? It's been interesting. We started our list identically, Tone, and they diverged since then, and that's perfectly fine. We'll get to some of the responses that we got as we posted this, as we always do yesterday. I say always, probably the last Tuesday top 5 for a while. Jeff Loggeman will be in with us next Tuesday, checking the preseason tape.
We got tape.
To watch. Pumped. DG and on next Monday, and it's going to be another week for Duraco because of the joint practice schedule with the Bucs. But we're getting ready to go full bore on this thing. All right, so Dylan, if you would, as we cool down here, fire up the remainder of the countdown.
Number 1.
All right, Pockets, lead us off.
Round up for the countdown. Number 5 was Cam Little. 4 was Tank Bigsby. 3 was Ronald Darby. 2, Andre Cisco. Number 1 for me, I'm gonna go Dewey. Dewey's had a good camp so far, and also, not that, this has to do with training camp. He gave us the best soundbite, I think, out of everybody with Hacker. I think it was about a week or 2 ago when he said that, talking about the culture change, he's one of the few guys that's been here since 2019 with Josh Allen and a couple of those guys, and he said that when Marone was here, he probably didn't even know his name, and now the culture has completely flipped overnight, and it's a working environment that everybody wants to be a part of now. I think that was the best quote that Dewey gave so far in camp so far.
All right, that is made up for his absence due to the injury. I couldn't put him in. If you're talking about the first week of camp, he's probably number 1 on the list, right? But I couldn't do it with him missing about half a camp at this point. But you're not the only one, Dylan, as we'll see when we go through some of these responses that had Andrew Dewey Wingard in their top 5. Tony, who do you have at number 1?
5-1 for me. 5, Cam Little. 4, Mason Smith. 3, Trevor Lawrence. 2, Joshua Hines-Allen. For Hayes earlier on in the show, it's he's having the best defensive camp.
Yeah.
Right? It's not unusual for Devon to be talked about that way, similar to you had Tank. And number 2 on your list. Number 1 for me, Devon Hamilton.
All right. My top 5 going from 5 to 1. Cam Little at 5. Mason Smith at 4. Andre Cisco at 3, Tank Bigsby at 2, and I'm going back to Dylan's list here. Ronald Darby, to me, has been the most consistently standout play above maybe expectations or up to expectations guy right from the start of camp. A lot of people thought that Jarian Jones would push him, and he may eventually push him for that job, but they signed Ronald Darby, and it was a bit of an under-the-radar free agent addition, kind of a placeholder. Maybe we're going to go with Terrion Arnold in the draft or Quinion Mitchell or one of these guys. And the Jags, under certain scenarios, may have gone that route. But they took Darby as a guy that gave them a chance to feel like they didn't have to go that way. And after losing out on Calvin Ridley in free agency, they wanted to get a weapon for Trevor Lawrence, and they waited until round 3. And Jarian Jones looks like a guy who's going to make an impact for this team down the road. But right now, I think Ronald Darby is going to make an impact for this team immediately. It fits this defense well, as you pointed out earlier, Tony. Health has been a concern. It hasn't been here, but when he has been healthy, he's played really good football, particularly as a press man corner, and he's going to be asked to do that a lot. He's going to see a lot of balls coming his way with Tyson Campbell on the other side, you would imagine. And I just have not heard him have a bad day right? At times he's been a standout. Other times he's just been unerringly consistent and playing well. And to me, in part because, factoring in expectations. And look, I don't dispute what you're saying about like Josh O'Hines Allen. Great camp, right? I expect him to kind of have a great camp.
I hear you.
That doesn't mean you can't have him on your list because the question is who did not. It's not who exceeded your expectations, but I looked at that. I factored that in a little bit. And while I thought Darby would be pretty good, I didn't think he'd be necessarily this good. So top in the list for me.
I had Darby and Bigsby among the players that I was considering, and Cisco among the also-rans for me when I mentioned I had 9 or 10 names that I was thinking about. The only names that I had on that list that didn't get mentioned by any of us in our 5, I had Christian Braswell on the list as one of the guys I was thinking about. Again,
thought about him.
Back-to-back. The team seems to really like him, right? And he's having a really good camp for him. And the other was Mitch Morse, right? At least to this point. And as you mentioned, kind of that Morse Sheriff hybrid thing that you thought about for your list, but those were the only 2 names that didn't get mentioned on anyone's 5 that I was thinking about.
If I was able to be out there for some of the goal line work in padded practices, I think it would stand out more, like who's really getting pushed on the offensive line. Anyway, let's go through some of the responses that we got because we got a pretty good variety. Although, there are a couple of guys I think had 4 of the same 5 that I had. Maybe they're listening to what we're saying every day about these guys. Daniel went with Evan Ingram, Andre Cisco, Cam Little, Devon Hamilton, and Tank Bigsby. I'll try not to repeat. Cristiano, who did he have? He had Cam, Cisco, and Bigsby on there. Also had Gabe Davis and Ventrell Miller. Here's a vote for Wingard. Another Bigsby, Cisco, Kirk, and Walker Little. Let's see. What do we got here? Brian Thomas Jr. from Ed. I think he's had a decent camp. It's been that ramp up. And through no fault of his own, it hasn't been highlight play after highlight play because, as you heard Press Taylor talking about this weekend, we don't want guys out there immediately running 45, 50 yards full speed down the field, getting soft tissue issues that they've got to deal with. Jarian Jones making this list as well. Devin Lloyd making this list. I'll try just to go to the guys that are new here. Another Mason Smith vote. Parker Washington from Bush Drive Rich made his list. Joshua Cephas, another guy. He is having a nice camp, right? It feels like we're saying every single person is having a good camp. You're at the stage now where it's easy to see the plays that stand out and excel.
Yeah.
And I think when we get into, obviously, the ones-on-ones on Saturday, but really these 2 back-to-back practices with the Bucs next week, we'll find out what's real and what's been a little bit of fluff at this point in time.
Sure. And usually a couple weeks into camp, everyone who's out there has an idea of who they're most impressed by or who they think is standing out the most at camp. There's usually a short list of players that are like, I don't know, they need to pick it up, right? Like here in camp, I haven't heard any of that. Have you?
Not really.
No. There's nobody that I've heard it's like, this guy needs to pick it up now out there in camp.
Yeah, and I wouldn't, it's unfair to put him in this category, but I feel like Ezra Cleveland is a question mark a little bit. Like Hayes said, hey, you look at his lower body, he doesn't seem like an earth-moving guard.
Sure.
Right? And he is, had his lunch eaten on a couple of occasions by Devon Hamilton. That may just be because Devon Hamilton is eating people's lunch right now, and he's banged up right now. So it's tough for me to really evaluate these guys on the offensive line. You're hearing more about the defensive standouts along the line, I think. Yeah. And then to isolate one guy like, hey, man, Sheriff really having a hell of a camp. You can see that when you see the one-on-ones at times, but that's a tougher evaluation for me.
And to some degree, especially on the defensive guys, there's enough guys that are excelling, right, at this point in camp that if Yasir Abdullah is pretty slow, right, like you may make a note of it. It's like, there's nothing happening with that guy. But that's about the end of it. It's like, I'm excited about what's happening with these 6 guys. And it kind of overwhelms maybe the one guy that's like, it'd be nice if he did a little bit. It kind of shrinks almost the importance of it in the minds of the people that are out there watching it. Every day it feels like, because as Hayes said, like he's been really impressed with it, the expectations he's having for the defense have gone up. based on what he's seen in camp the last couple of weeks. So the odds of pointing out one or two guys on that side of the ball that are like, that's a big disappointment. It's like, that's not the nature of what camp has been to this point for the Jags here in 2024.
I agree. Numerous votes for Trevor Lawrence, by the way, on this. Some votes for Trayvon, some votes for Josh Hines-Allen.
Yeah.
Jalen Jackson got a vote here. You know, it's going to be tough to make this roster as a running back, as a young guy, but he has had some positive buzz around him. Brenton Strange getting a little love in here as well. Christian Kirk, Tyson Campbell. So, people are picking up on different things from different sources, I'm sure. And like you said, the bottom line, you don't hear too many man, this guy is really a big problem, or really a big question mark right now.
Nobody that you might have circled as a guy that's going to be really important for the team has had a camp to this point that you're like, what's going on?
Right. Like Brian Thomas hasn't had the most explosive camp from day one, but there are reasons for that. And as the days go by, you're starting to hear a little bit more like, oh, big hookup for a touchdown and team, or beat his man on one-on-ones deep and things like that.
It's kind of cool to be having a year at camp where most of the reactions are more like the Keelan Robinson thing. It's like, I don't know how much he's going to play any kind of offense. He's going to be a special teams guy. And a couple weeks into camp, it's like, I think he can do some interesting things if he's asked to on offense.
You hear both coordinators, Heath Farwell and Press Taylor, both kind of praise him for the way they envision him fitting in. Unlike, Keelan Robinson, you add, that's just another guy in this backfield right now. And, I haven't heard really much of anything about Dearness Johnson, to be honest with you. And he's getting third-team reps, and it does make me wonder. I know he's a vet, and maybe you feel like you can count on him and you'll know what to expect if he has to go in there, but that could be a spot to look at if you're trying to save a roster spot, because they've got some younger options right now available to them. All right, so with that, we're about done and ready to hand things off to the ladies of Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
All right, Taylor Dahl, hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Are you?
I am great. How are you?
We're fantastic. Like I did with Hayes Carlyon, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
I know you're not at every practice, nor am I.
Mm-hmm.
But from what you've seen and heard, a combination, give me 5 guys that you think are having excellent training camps for the Jags.
Okay, I think the number one that comes to my head that I noticed a ton so far that I've been there and even what I've heard is Devon Hamilton. He, I think, is just, in general, we've talked about how much he's going to be a big factor of being healthy and being back on that line, and I've been very vocal this season that I think the Jags defensive line has the chance to being one of the better ones in the league with him being healthy with the addition of Eric Armstead. So he's a main one. Andre Sisco, I would say, is another big one. Obviously, this last camp was with the multiple interceptions, but aside from that, I think the secondary, we've seen a lot of good things, and I'll roll off of that with the secondary. I've been impressed with Ronald Darby, and he's one that I was a little critical of that signing, more so the injury-related aspect of it, but when he's healthy and on the field, there's the potential for him and Sisco to be a really good group back there together. So those are the top 3, and I'm going to say this. I know we did it last year, but Tank Bigsby, I feel like, has to be one. I think the run game in general, to me, has looked so much better than what we saw, even bits of last year in camp. I think that the vision looks better. They're finding open field. They're breaking tackles. They're doing everything that kind of, and I know it's not full on, everyone's tackling each other full on, but I do think that's another one that stood out. And let me think, another one. I'll say Cam Little. I think that is another thing we've kind of been addressing. There were multiple games last year that was a factor in, and so to have somebody who can make kicks, I think, is important, and we've seen him hit from 58 and 35 and everywhere he needs to go. So I think those are 5 that have majorly
Only
stood out.
Hayes would have cooperated. We could have been 5 for 5 with him at 5.
Look, I had, if I had a top 6, you had 5 of my top 6.
Yeah.
Mason Smith being the other
one
one that I had in there. Sorry, Helmets and Heels coming up for the next couple hours. What's on tap?
Yeah, so we have we are going to go into some of the Jags' first 5 games and what we think that record prediction could be like. We saw some stats come out that they're projected to win. I think the highest was 2 of the 5 was the best odds to win 2. So we're going to go through and kind of break down those first 5 games of not only the Jags but some of the AFC South and see what that could look like once we're entering Week 6. Just because those are the first odds we're getting, just this little bits of camp that you can only predict so much. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We also I have a tangent I'm going to go on about the White Sox baseball team right now that is just not playing very well baseball. But a lot of Jags too. We're going to talk some Andre Sisco. I know we have some sound from him, so a ton of Jags that we're going to get into.
All right, love it. We'll be listening, and the White Sox, man, we were all, we don't talk baseball on Jaguars Today, but we were all sitting around looking at the standings, and it's mind-boggling how bad they've been.
Especially 3 seasons ago, they had 93 wins. To see a team go from that to
even if this losing streak, if they had won like 3 games and broken up this losing streak, the overall record is still one of the worst in the history of the game.
It's wild.
Going back to like the 19th century. All right, Taylor, have a great show.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Helmets and Heels coming your way next. Thanks to Hayes Carlyon for joining us today on the program. For Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark, I'm Mike Dempsey. Jags back on the field again tomorrow, and we'll bring you all the news coming out of there as well. This has been Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.